Hello, welcome to Savage Sounds, week 39. Today we're going to be doing melody and beatbox at the same time. So you might be bored of just doing purely percussive stuff, which is cool, but eventually you want to start creating songs and melodies and taking your audience on more of a melodic journey with your beatboxing, perhaps. So there are loads of ways you can do this. I'm going to focus on two that I use quite a lot. One is sort of the humming and beatboxing at the same time. The other is using vocalized sounds in between beats. There are things you can do like tuned lip bass, which I don't do that much, but that is like creating lip bass and changing the tension to create different pitches. You can even put some voice behind that lip bass. Or really high pitched. So that's some way of creating melody, but I'm talking about using vocalized sort of humming. So a really simple-ish place to start is the White Stripes' Seven Nation Army, okay? The okay, it's not particularly beautiful melody, but it's nice and simple. It's quite anthemic, and it's really simple because it's just a kick and a snare with the melody underneath. It's quite low for me. Okay, da 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 da. Second bit, da 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 da. So just going to put a kick drum behind that, so it becomes. Now it's not as simple as just saying boom the whole time, but that's how you start, okay? So kick drum followed by the pitch that you want. So just saying boom in the pitch. That's the first bit. Then it's a kick drum on its own. So the third bit is So the fourth bit is the start of the second bar is okay, so the second bar is just one on, one off. So kick drum with the one without. So let's just try the second bar first. Da, da, it's the first bit which is harder. Once you've nailed that first bar, the rest is easy. Keep doing that over and over and over, even if you have to rewind this video a million times. Once you've nailed that, you'll be able to move on and do them together. That's the very last bit. And then all you need to do is add a snare. So you replace the second beat with a snare. So it goes the melody is and the rhythm is in exactly the same place. You're just changing it from a kick, 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 kick to a kick, snare, kick, snare. And all you do when you're performing it is present it in layers like that to the audience. So you can take quite a simple thing and turn it into this big, elongated, magical trick. It's what buskers do quite a lot. They make one simple thing last an entire 20-minute routine. She goes, do you want to hear me do the bass and the kick drum at the same time? Everyone goes, yeah, I want to hear you do it at the same time. So you start by going, Then you show them the kick drum that you're going to put on top of it. So you go, they go, no way. How are they going to be able to do two of those things at the same time? Then you show them both at the same time, okay? Then you make a big meal out of it. I'm going to do both at the same time, okay? And then you go, You take them back to the melody without the beats to remind them. You're building up to it. with the beats. By that point, people are going, oh my God, I can't believe it. Surely there's not more. Surely you can't do more. And then you go, I'm going to add a snare on top of that. And people just lose their goddamn minds. Okay? So then you go back to the beginning. You're building it up. You're building the tension. You're making it more impressive than it really is. So you're going to go layer one. Then you add the kicks. And then you add the snare. And by that point, the audience hopefully are just like, whoa, this is the best beatboxer I've ever heard. Even though you're the not best beatboxer in the world, if you can present your rhythms and beats and songs in a way that people are going to react to it and make it fun and build it up, that's going to be way more entertaining than someone who's just going really fast technical stuff. For me, personally, maybe not with the White Stripes, because that is very overdone and it's quite simple, but you can use that for the basis of any routine. So my 4-layer beatbox routine is basically that. Altogether, the rhythm is... And I just basically make that routine last about 5 minutes, because I go layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4. And then you go back. Every time you add a layer, you go back to the beginning. And the audience don't get bored of it. It's still one of the best routines that I do live. People just go nuts for it. But if I just, in the middle of my routine, dropped, they'd be like, oh, that's cool. But the fact that I've broken it down and presented it to them in that way, it clicks something in their brains, and it makes people sort of understand how complex beatboxing really is. But it's also a trick, because you're not really doing it at the same time. Things are happening in between the spaces. But I will do Savage Sounds on my 4-layer beatbox routine if you wanted to have a go at doing it yourself. So another way of doing it, instead of using the your voice and humming, is putting melody in between the beats. So rather than doing the you're going and it just gives it a different sort of movement. So one of the songs that I cover using this technique is King of My Castle. Must be the reason why I'm king of my castle. Classic tune. If you're from the 90s, you will remember it very well. And it's the same. It's simple because it's kick drum and snare and a really simple melody. Okay, so the melody is on the off beat. So if I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, the melody is in between the 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's do 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 2, 3, 4 do 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 do. So you can hear that's on the off beat. If I'm going to clap, do 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 2, 3, 4 do 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 do. So do 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 do. Okay, that is the melody. Really simple. So I start with the kick drum. So I go do 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 do. So there's 4 kick drums that are completely on their own that create space. Do 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 do. Okay, nice and simple. Then I leave a gap to add the snare. Okay, to create suspense, create tension, and then you go. Really simple, but again, for some reason, when I do that on stage, it's not the most technical, complicated thing that I do, but people just go, wow! I don't know why. Introducing a simple melody line, a kick and a snare, and performing them layer by layer, stage by stage, is a great technique to get audiences excited. And then you can go into singing the actual song. So then I would go into must be the reason why I'm being up my capsule. That is literally must be the reason why I'm being up my castle. You just put a B in front of the words. Sometimes it works really well. Sometimes you've got to be careful that it can sound a bit too bibbidi bobbidi. But yeah, that is 2 ways of using melody within beatboxing. bum. You got your humming, your bum bum bum, or you got your doo doo, and you can replace that doo doo with any vocalized sound. Just nice, short, sharp, vocalized sounds work really well in that way. That is melody and beatbox at the same time. Next week, I hopefully will be doing singing and beatboxing at the same time. Hopefully see you then. Do you think my jumper's orange enough?